One thing you have to be careful about when using emotions in marketing content is creating negative associations with the brand. You don't want people to start associating your brand with the wrong sorts of emotions, particularly negative ones. Some brands can get away with it. Maybe you want your target customers to feel empathy or a sense of injustice when they think about your brand. But most brands want positive associations when people think of their brand, and that means positive emotions. Before we share a joke, we estimate whether the other person will like the joke, whether they'll feel joy, and whether they'll laugh or not. If we expect the emotion from the other person will be positive, then we'll share it. However, if we think the emotion the other person will feel is negative or ambivalent, then likely we won't share it. When that person feels good because we shared something that made them feel good, that person feels grateful. And when someone feels grateful, it makes us feel good. An estimation of how someone might react when sharing emotional content is a powerful driver of decisions to share. Therefore, when incorporating emotions in marketing content, emotive videos, and so on, you want to be careful about expected reactions from sharing. Generally, people prefer to share content that has happy emotions, or at least ends on a happy note, since people care about the emotions that other people want to feel. Do they really want to share something that terrifies or makes other people sad? Emotions activate motives to share information, but you must take into account impression management, how people want to be perceived by others. Have you ever walked into a room of people who are laughing and you begin to feel more cheerful? Or had someone smile at you and it made you feel good? Emotions are contagious. Almost subconsciously, we're affected by other people's emotions around us. Incorporating emotions into marketing content is half the story. We need to make sure those emotions are sufficiently transferred from the movie to the viewer. One way to ensure the efficient transfer of emotions is to use something called emotional contagion. Emotional contagion is where the emotional state of someone is affected by the emotional state of others. And the way emotions are transmitted is through facial expressions. The best way to do that in a video ad is to transfer the emotions through those expressions. According to research in this area, people can detect 7 main emotions from facial expressions, including anger, disgust, sadness, fear, happiness, surprise, and contempt. Interestingly, people make the same face for each of these emotions regardless of where they're from in the world. Even people who've been blind since birth make the same expressions. It seems facial expressions are biologically hardwired into us. Fortunately, most emotions of interest for marketers have an associated facial expression. People have an impressive ability to recognize emotions from these facial expressions, and emotions transferred between people from these expressions are highly contagious. The best way to transfer emotions from the story using expressions is to show short 1 to 2 second scenes of people's facial expressions in the ad reacting to events in the story. Timing is important to reinforce the intended emotions in the story. Display the facial expressions immediately after the emotion is cued in the movie and before the scene is changed or a new spike of emotion begins. Unless you're using a technique like impromptu prank to make the impressions genuine, it's important you use actors that are well trained on how to mimic the desired facial expressions for each intended emotion in the story. A dramatic surprise on a quiet square is a video advertisement for the Belgium TV channel TNT. It's a super viral with over 4 million shares. The movie transmits emotions using facial expressions, including surprise, happiness, disgust, and fear, all by using the expressions of people standing in a town square observing a drama unfolding. The ad nicely illustrates how it's possible to transfer a wide variety of emotions by using facial expressions. The movie features a large red button that's placed into the middle of a quiet city square with a large sign over the button that says "Push to add drama." Passers-by stare at the button, but no one has the courage to actually push it. Finally, a man on his bicycle stops, he gathers his courage and pushes the button. Immediately, a siren goes off and a dramatic scene ensues. The entire sequence involves a series of related stunts revolving around the evacuation of an injured man to hospital. Importantly, each scene is punchy and it's short. It's all staged in under 2 minutes. Between each scene, the facial expression of a passerby is flashed. The injured man falls out of the back of an ambulance and the camera shifts to an expression of disbelief from an observer. Then a man on his bicycle crashes into the door of the ambulance that results in an ensuing fight with the ambulance officer. Again, more expressions, including grimacing and smiles. A black car of bad guys screeches to a halt and begins a gunfight, and a woman rides past on a motorcycle wearing lingerie. The camera shifts to an old woman observing and her expressions of disgust and disbelief, and so on. Without facial expressions, the movie wouldn't be able to transmit the emotions effectively, and the magic of that prank would have been lost. Never leave it up to the audience to guess how they should feel. Show them how they should feel by using the reactions of others in the scene. Bob Marley once famously said, "One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain." The hit Bob Marley is referring to is an intense emotional response to music. Music can have a powerful effect on people, conjuring up strong emotions and memories laden with emotions. Have you ever listened to a song on the radio that you haven't heard in a while and it transported you back in time, put a smile on your face, and sent you into a nostalgic daydream? Likely, the song conjured up some strong memories of some time in the past, which fueled the emotional reaction you had. So music can be used as a way to activate emotions by activating memories in the past that have significance to the listener. Memories that are tied to important events in the past usually have strong emotions attached to them. The problem is, everyone has different memories, so it's difficult to evoke the same emotion from the same memory. There is, however, one way around this, and that's activating memories from people's youth. Most people over a certain age long to be young again, and for most people, memories of their youth hold special significance. It's a powerful thing for marketers to tap into these memories, since the resulting emotions are not only strong, they're also pleasant emotions. The best way to get at these memories is to use music. Music is relatively easy to conjure up nostalgic memories because the impression music has on most people tends to wane in about their late 20s to mid-30s. Most people, as they get older, will at some point stop listening to new music and start listening to music from a certain period in their lives. Generally, this period is when they were in their late 20s to early 30s. After this age, people will tend to fix on a certain period of music. Nostalgic songs don't activate specific memories, but rather the memories that are evoked are more general in nature. Someone in their late 40s listening to Nirvana's "Smells Like Teen Spirit" might be reminded of college dorms, parties, and late night studying, rather than a specific moment when they heard the song. This makes nostalgic music ideal for conjuring up emotions, since everyone shares memories from their youth, even though specific memories may differ.